Okay, this is about translating your proportions of a thumbnail. If you need to make your thumbnail clearer, then go ahead and make a better version of it. You can use a ruler or whatever. And then what you want to do is create a box around it that is showing the parameters. And what you're interested in is this ratio. This to this. I use some sort of measurement tool. I would do something based on tens, like the decimal system or something. I use some strange measuring thing on this ruler that is kind of handy, actually. I don't even know what it is. But anyway, it was 28 units by 44 units. And I did a little loose drawing down here of the scale that I wanted and measured it and saw that it was 88 or close to it, so I just doubled it basically. So excuse me, I thought it was 88 wide and I had 44 here, so I times 2. So I times my 28 times 2, I get 56, times 44 times 2 get 88. You guys are all better than math than I am. I know that for sure. So anyway, then you get this ratio. Now what I'm noticing here is that, again, this is where the axis is, and this is how I'm orienting. So this was the axis here. And then the way this is designed, there's an axis there as well. So being clear about where those are. Now I have the proportions. Then what I do is find the centers. Now you can measure and find the centers, or you can just make X's. I think it's good to make like 16 divisions. This is basically halved and halved and halved, 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 halved. So you get all these quadrants. And you can just do little X's like this. You don't need to you know, do X's all through the thing. Just you're trying to find the cross points where the centers are. So when you find that, basically you have a template for translating what's going on. You see that this cone goes from this edge to this edge, and it's the center axis is right here, and it goes a little past that point. So then you know that, okay, the cone is approximately like this. And then you know that the box goes fairly close to the top and comes even over here. And the bottom is similarly related to that line there. And so on and so forth. So you just kind of you know, figure out the relationships in that way, and you basically translate. So this is a great way to start your orthographic. Make sure that you do your loose thumbnail drawings first, that you've got the right, you can fit everything on the page well. And then, so another thing I want to point out is that the width. This is just dealing with this ratio, but how wide is your thing? Now, there's this drawing I did here, and I know it from here as well, but this is a cone coming out the back. And the cone, you can see, is a circle, right? So that means as it is high is going to be as it is wide. And that's going to be wider than the rest of the gun, ray gun here, which is a square shape. So this is going to be the widest part of the ray gun. So what I do is I do the proportional thing here, where I take this measurement right here and translate it to here, because it's a circle. It's going to be the same all the way around. And then that is going to be the width of, which is going to be 14 of these measurements, whatever they are. So over here, let's see, that's right here. And 14, so it's 14 of those times 2, which is 28. So basically it's going to be that. So this would be the width of this side view here. Now again, always with your views, everything comes from a central axis. It's kind of, think of the skeleton of the body. It's not just the body, it's a central axis. So what you're wanting to do is always create a central axis with everything you create, in a way, is based on that. And then you can know that this comes to there. And that these are your points of tangency. Technically, this should be a perfect circle. And if you guys wind up doing perfect circles for whatever reason, whether it's for cylinders or spheres, and you have a compass and you want to use it, I don't really mind. The thing is, it can be tricky to place. Sometimes people aren't that good at compasses either. So this will be the widest point, and then the width. Notice that the width, since I'm saying this is a square here, square facing right here, this width is going to translate. That's going to be that measurement there. So this is going to be the dimension here. And that's going to, let's see, I believe it's like that, splitting it right there. So that's going to be the width of the cube, that, if this is the front view, that would be behind this thing. So it might be hidden mostly. Well, anyway, so you'll have to figure out. So if this is the front view, this would be where the width of the cube would come, and then it would come behind here. So if I was looking at it from this angle, I'm calling it the front. Actually, I was designing it as the back. But you would, if you're looking at it from the back, you would only see this much of the cube. And this sphere, the back of the cone, would be the one that would be occluding it in front of it, overlapping. And then when you do your graphite, you de-emphasize where the transparent lines are and do what would actually show. Okay, so I don't want to continue more on that, but that's the sensibility of how you think of translating proportion and going to and going to a larger scale, and then how you translate it to different views. Okay?